everybody, it's Melanie, the body listener here. I wanted to come to you today and talk to you about the 8-week Healing the Empath class that I am doing. It has been years and years in the making of working with so many highly sensitive people, intuitive people, all you beautiful empaths who come in with all kinds of different ailments, anxiety and stomach stuff and headaches and back pain and fatigue and overwhelm. And through the years we have just grounded out energy and used so many different techniques and methods with clients that I realized there were so many holes in what people were learning and doing that I wanted to, even people who are doing advanced things, I needed to bring them all the way back and teach them how to ground and breathe and open and protect and clear. And so I put together an entire system from beginning to end to be able to plug those holes. And it's great to have those superpowers of being aware, but we also know that they can kind of get us and overwhelm us and cause a lot of ailments and conditions in our bodies. It's just too much information for our system to process. And so it ends up showing up in making us sick. So as we started doing this work, we realized that people were not only reducing some of their symptoms, they were reversing them completely. So after all of those stories, I thought, yeah, I can reach lots of people in my practice and that ripples out, but we need to go bigger. If you know me at all, you know I'm a brat in that way, that there's never enough healing going out, and we needed to know that this information was getting to the right people. So putting that together has been a wild ride and challenge, and the technology is here, so it's really great, but it's taken some time to put it all together in the back end. So I wanted to go over all the different modules and what exactly to expect in the class. I know it's all in my head and we've been working on it in my practice, but I wanted to let you know all the things that I'm stuffing into 8 weeks. So it might take you a little bit longer to get through all of it, and it's lifelong. So it is an application to really understand what works for you, what resonates with you, and those other things that maybe don't right now, and that's totally fine. Everyone's so different. So we start at the very beginning on the characteristics and the ailments and all the conditions that have been caused. They're almost empath ailments is what I'm starting to call them. I just saw them over and over and over and over again. It's the same stuff. It's the same things, and we're just absorbing way more than one person's system should. And so that first module is just going over all of that, recognizing that checklist on what you have, what might just be from that, what might be from other things as well, and recognizing those conditions that we can start grounding and helping. And then all the perspective. Where do you look at the world from? How do you show up? Are you looking at second and third person? Are you looking from your own perspective? And then how do we channel help and have spirit in some way, nature in some way, to be able to bring that to support us? So that's just in the first module. That's just the first week. Stuff that I really do teach time and time again when first clients come in. We're just going through all these understandings that the system is all the way up here, which brings us into the second module, the energy of the empath. We don't necessarily live in the basic lower chakras, or there's so many different energy systems, right? But our roots aren't always there. We're floating way up here. We think a lot, we feel a lot, we speak a lot, we intuit a lot, right? And we're connected to the outer world so much that it's hard for us to ground. And so that second module is just talking about the energy system, to understand that we're kind of flipped, and it's great to go this direction, but without those roots, it's really hard to fly. So we start working on those, and we assess all the different energy and start connecting to that and recognizing where we're open and where we're not. So that's week 2. Week 3 is all about grounding, not just sitting and grounding, though that's what we're going to do too, is feeling your energy and recognizing that. But what are all the grounding elements and exercises and techniques that you can do throughout the day? And what kinds of foods take us airy? What kinds of foods make us more grounded? So everything that I've got, I just want to take that microchip and stick it into your head. Anything that you can do to ground. I was highly intuitive and super aware. I'm still intuitive, but I'm not floating around up here. I know how to be on the planet now after many years of this work. It's great to have that superpower to be able to work with people, but it also, my body was super overwhelmed and loved the energy, but also needed to learn how to ground. So I've worked on that myself for years and then started working with clients as well. So it's all about grounding in week 3. Week 4 is protecting your energy. How do you protect? How do you not only have energy coming at you, but we're also going out and getting that energy and going into too much of other people's shit, so to speak, not just their trauma and their drama, but also just feeling them all the time. And that's a great superpower, but once we learn how to ground that and protect ourselves, then we can interact and interrelate without being enmeshed. And so protection is that next week. We also talk about how not to absorb other people's energy, which brings us into week 5, and that's boundaries and relationships and narcissists. You might have 1 or 2 or 10 of those in your life if you're a big empath. When we have so much energy that's going out, then there are people and places and things and situations that come in and want to take that from us because it's just lower vibration and higher vibration. It's not better or worse, it's just relationship. And so we start learning after we protect ourselves and after we learn how to ground, how we show up in our relationships. So that is week 5. Then we go into clearing. Once you do protect, sometimes you still get stuff on you. So you need to learn how to clear in throughout the day, at the end of the day, when you have an interaction that doesn't feel so hot. And there's also, like as we might know, is spiritual warfare. There's a lot of energy that's whipping around. Whether or not you're on Facebook, whether or not you're in social media, it's going through. It's not wired anymore. It's wireless. So we're all connected. We're all feeling that. And so clearing that's super, super important. And there's dozens of techniques on how to clear, and what resonates best for each individual is really up to you. So we talk about cords, we talk about keeping your energy clean, and then also just how to clear on an ongoing basis with thought and prayers and all kinds of other techniques. And then it brings us to week 7, and that's about self-care and beginning to understand what energy is in your system, where it's blocked, where it's not, how you use that energy to be able to heal yourself. Working with forgiveness, we're going to work with rituals, we're going to work with some of our younger selves too, start beginning to heal ourselves. That superpower that we have to be able to be compassionate and feel, we turn that inward and we start working on ourselves, and that's a pretty amazing thing, but you have to learn how to do all the other stuff first. Like people come in and say, I want to be a healer. I want to use energy and heal people. Like, oh, it's way up here and we don't have it through here, and it ends up making us sick. And you might have had that experience already too, where we really feel connected, but yet our system doesn't know how to process all of that. So we can really take people's energy on when we're working with them as well. So that's necessary just to be able to show up in our families and in life, as well as any healing work that you might be doing out in the world. Just showing up and being an advocate or an activist is healing work as well. And so that brings us into the last week, which is all about how we sabotage our small ego, our big ego, intention, how you want to ripple out into the world. And then we bring it all together. We integrate it as much as we possibly can, and there will be an ongoing thing. You will have an extra month after that of the Facebook group to be able to apply and interact and let everybody know how you're doing. And then eventually we'll have an alumni group too, to be able to continue what a healed empath looks like, rather than just surviving or getting through the day and labeling ourselves, we're empaths, so we can't do ... or that we think we have to suffer and not be able to thrive in our lives, that we have to avoid certain situations. Once we do this work, we become more resilient, and we can go out into the world and we can kick some major ass in the way that we know that we can, without draining ourselves and feeling fatigued like we have for so many years. So that's the healing the empath, rather than just surviving. We're going beyond that and taking 100% responsibility for our lives and our thoughts. And man, that is not freaking easy at all, is it? But over time, you recognize that it's so worth it, and your system starts feeling better. So that's the goal of this class, is to be able to feel better, to have better days, to not be so fatigued from the energy that's whipping around in our world right now, and will continue to be that way. It's not slowing down anytime soon. So how do we show up and use those superpowers that we have? They are a blessing, and we used to think they were a curse, and now we channel them properly, because with that great responsibility, or with that great ability, we have great responsibility, and it's time to be able to protect ourselves and get stronger and be able to ripple out in the right way that we want to. So that is the class. We have a weekly Q&A for an hour. You send us your questions and what's your obstacles throughout the week or how you want me to expand, and I will reach you for an hour each week. And then we also do have the bonuses of being able to have the breathing work. It's really, really important for the body to be able to heal. It has to be in a parasympathetic state. And so breathing is the beginning part. I didn't want to take it into the actual class because some people have already done breathing work, pranayama, yoga, whether you play an instrument or a swimmer or whatever it is that you do, you might already have that breath. So I have levels of that to be able to expand the breath to go deeper. But it is very, very important for the system when you work with energy, when you start grounding, to have the breath in the belly and to know that the system can heal the way that it needs to. And so that's the beginning bonus that we have. And then we also have my tapping program. So I've been teaching tapping since free. It's always been accessible. And but there's different ways that I go through it so that you make yourself and allow yourself to be very, very safe. So when you bring things up, that you can clear them out without reactivating or re-traumatizing. So we do that in a safe way, and I bring that tapping in because as we get into that fourth week and you're starting to work through some things, you might have some different things that come up, and that's a really great tool. We want to do no harm. We don't need to reactivate any old trauma, so we have to have some tools there to be able to breathe and be safe, and then also as things come up, we get to clear those out as well. So those are the two bonus programs that I have individually, but I throw those into the program too because it's kind of necessary to have. So if you have any questions about anything or what the modules are, please feel free to reach out. Get anybody who wants this work, who needs this work, to be able to be here. It's 2020 now. It's the time that we have to really reel in and find our superpowers and channel them properly so that our systems don't go bonkers, because we've been seeing a lot of things the last couple of years, and you don't need to have those ailments or conditions. You deserve more, and I hope that you join us on this journey, and I can't wait to see you. So go ahead and reach out in any way that you can, and the link will be below this to be able to look at the class and how it's structured and if it's the right time for you. Thanks. Have a beautiful day. Bye.